Ever wondered what it'd actually be like to stick the landing on the biggest planet in our solar system? That massive glowing dot you see in the night sky is hiding a pretty wild secret. See, you'd think every planet has some kind of solid ground to plant your feet on, right? But this gas giant totally breaks all the rules. We're talking about Jupiter, a literal bottomless world of swirling gases where there's zero surface for a spacecraft to even land on. So, if you actually decided to dive through Jupiter's upper clouds, you'd be hitting some gnarly storms that make anything on Earth look like a light breeze. Your journey kicks off right in the middle of these frozen ammonia clouds, all decked out in shades of white and tan. We're talking wind speeds cranking up to over 600 kilometers per hour. That is literally twice as fast as the strongest hurricane ever recorded on our home planet. Then, as you plunge even deeper, the pressure starts cranking up to a terrifying level. I'm talking about hitting a depth of 1,000 kilometers below those cloud tops, where the pressure becomes tens of thousands of times more intense than what we feel on Earth's surface. This massive crushing force is enough to flatten any solid metal object like it's just an empty soda can, making it totally impossible for any spacecraft to keep going down.
عندما يمر التيار الكهربائي في الفتيلة، ترتفع حرارتها بشكل كبير جدا خلال جزء من الثانية. فتقوم هذه الحرارة العالية بتوهج الفتيلة وإصدار الضوء الأصفر الدافئ الذي نراه.
And here's the real head-scratcher. What actually happens to gas under that kind of insane pressure and heat? Well, hydrogen, which is the lightest and most common element in the entire universe, starts acting totally bizarre. This super-light gas ends up turning into a thick, dense liquid that's nothing like any liquid we've ever seen on Earth. Pretty much just like how steam turns back into water when you put it under enough pressure. And the mind-blowing result is that you wouldn't just be passing through some ocean of liquid hydrogen. Eventually, you'd hit a zone where matter basically stops following the normal laws of physics. This region contains a super rare form of matter called metallic hydrogen, something that absolutely does not exist naturally anywhere on Earth. This metallic hydrogen actually forms when the pressure gets so extreme that electrons literally break free from their hydrogen atoms. Because of that, these electrons start flowing around totally free, just like they do in a metal wire, which makes the hydrogen act exactly like a real metal. This is the big secret behind why Jupiter has such a massive magnetic field, 10 times stronger than anything we've got on Earth. So there literally wouldn't be any solid ground for your feet to touch at all on this wild journey. This massive ocean of metallic hydrogen stretches for thousands of kilometers deep inside, just getting denser and denser as you go. You're basically diving into a bottomless cosmic sea here, not some rocky planet like Mars or Venus. And that is exactly what went down with NASA's Galileo probe back in 1995. Humanity sent this little probe to take the ultimate leap into Jupiter's atmosphere, and its fate was pretty much sealed from the start. After only 57 minutes of diving into that atmosphere, the probe went totally silent and stopped transmitting. It had been completely crushed to pieces. And keep in mind, the Galileo probe didn't even make it anywhere near the deep layers or that metallic hydrogen zone. It got totally wrecked in just the upper layers, where the pressure is only about a few dozen times what we feel on Earth. If any spacecraft actually tried to push even deeper, it'd be crushed into a flat hunk of metal and carbon in the absolute blink of an eye. Scientists still haven't figured out exactly where the metallic hydrogen ends, or what's actually sitting at the very center of the planet. The theories suggest there might be a tiny rocky or icy core down there, maybe with a mass about 10 times that of Earth. But even this core isn't some surface you could ever walk on. It's just a superheated mass under a level of pressure that's honestly mind-boggling. For instance, if you grabbed a piece of wood and tossed it into some water, it floats because of the difference in density, right? Well, it's the same vibe with Jupiter. The density of its layers changes super gradually as you go from the outside in. This means the gas transitions into a liquid and then into a metal, without there ever being a sharp solid line that you could actually call ground or a surface. Plus, those giant storms on Jupiter really show off nature's wild, untamed power when there's no solid ground to hold things back. That legendary storm, the Great Red Spot, is literally 2.5 times the size of Earth and has been raging for hundreds of years. Since this storm never hits a surface to slow it down or kill it off, it just keeps spinning freely in that never-ending atmosphere. If you compare this planet to its neighbor Saturn, both are basically giant gas balls with no solid ground to stand on. But while Saturn is famous for those stunning icy rings, Jupiter is rocking a radiation belt that is 1,000 times more intense than the deadliest radiation on Earth. These radiation levels actually make getting close to the planet even more dangerous than the crushing pressure and the crazy heat combined. So, here's the mind-blowing bottom line. Jupiter isn't a place you can just land on. It's a world that literally crushes anything that even dares to get close. This whole reality makes you realize just how insane the variety in our universe actually is, with worlds out there that totally defy every basic expectation we have. It's a massive reminder that the cosmos is way bigger and weirder than any science fiction story, and every single celestial body is playing by its own wild set of physical laws.